I write to warn the Federation of humanity's scariest emotion. Do not provoke this emotion in a person. It is far too dangerous. Our scholars have been split on what their most dangerous emotion was for years, but I'm afraid the answer lies just outside of our scholarly speculation, and for good reason. Truthfully, it is an emotion beyond logic. Hear me now. At first we thought it was love, the emotion humans talk about so often in their art. Love is described as a feeling of supreme reward, where adoration for an ideal, person, or object brings about irrational behavior. This much was true. Many humans do perform many irrational actions when in love, but this isn't their scariest emotion. Far from it. In spite of their initially puzzling actions, you can understand a measure of reason behind it. They attribute great value to an ideal, person, or object, and go to great lengths for the sake of the target of their adoration. Their actions make sense under that premise. Love and its derived actions are not, therefore, illogical. We have no reason to fear what can be understood, for what we understand we can predict. Later, we thought their scariest emotion was hatred. Humans can hate, like any other race. They can hate for very little reason, but their cruelty can be fueled by this hatred, and it leads to countless atrocities. Being subject to a human's hatred is, by all means, a terrifying experience. But even the hateful do not lose their sense of reason entirely. They wish the object of their hatred to disappear, and they will go to any lengths for such a thing to happen. This all makes sense, yes? Love and hatred are extremely intense emotions, but very predictable, and thus not the scariest. A case could be made for apathy, but it is not the scariest human emotion either. Humans who do not go through the effort of saving or caring about others, even when the situation should call for. This is similar to most other galactic races, however, and while appearing somewhat of a sinful behaviour for humanity, it hardly scares us, and why should it? A creature should hardly waste their mental energy with something that doesn't matter to them, and doing so just because of social conventions is absurd. We knew all of this, of course, so our negotiator went into the surrender talks armed with such knowledge. The humans had lost that particular battle, and only a single human stood alone. He held his single laser pistol pointed at the broken down ship's reactor, framed to cause a massive explosion and get much of our army to perish. This was, we thought, an attempt at negotiating surrender terms, and we were correct. At the time, the humans simply wanted to live. I want a ship, supplies, and a guarantee I won't be followed, he demanded, or I'll blow it up. Our negotiator smiled in response. Let's not play games, human. Do you know what this device is? Not even a little. It is a device that lets us know what emotions you feel, our negotiator said with a grin. We know you don't particularly feel love for this area we're fighting in. This is just a war over some asteroid mining rights. Your homeland isn't at stake here, and our device tells me you don't love your homeland enough to die for it. The human hesitated. What about it? You don't hate us enough to die for the sake of killing us either, our negotiator went on, his smile growing wider. So hatred isn't enough of an option either. The human grew annoyed. What's your goddamn point? And you enjoy your life, so apathy won't do it either. Here our negotiator opened his arms and laughed. Well, you see, you feel neither apathy, nor love, nor hatred. You have no emotion strong enough to justify going against your sense of self-preservation. We have nothing to fear, because you won't pull that trigger. Without hesitation, the human shot the ship's reactor. It would soon cause an explosion that wiped out large parts of our fleet, as well as the human himself, of course. Though it would help the humans in the war, the human himself felt no particular accomplishment to the thought. He didn't care about humanity as a whole, nor did he care about the war. He didn't hate our race or love humans. He enjoyed living, but he had traded his life for killing a number of us, paying the ultimate price for no particular gain to himself. Why? Asked our negotiator, full of despair and confusion. Why would you sacrifice your life when you have nothing to gain, nothing you care about? Because you said I wouldn't. That day we learned this lesson, and now, as one of the few survivors of that massacre, I must warn the rest of the Federation. Humanity's most dangerous emotion isn't love, it's not hatred, it's not apathy, it's spite.